Good evening, everyone. Thursday night. We're not breaking our streak. Welcome from live from Efrat after Tisha B'Av. May we see Geula soon, and may the tefillot and the brachot of the Zera Shimshon go upon everyone that needs a bracha, Yeshua, Refuah, everything. So we'll do Torah Gimel first. The Midrash Al Kuchimoni starts right away. Okay. Okay. So Midrash Al Kuchimoni starts by saying "V'atchanan el Adonai," but the pasuk "V'atchanan el Adonai be'itahi lemor," right? So it says and it says here, I implored Hashem at that time, saying. So there are many questions as to when. What is that be'itahi? But Zera Shimshon asks a very obvious question. Based on the Yalkut Shimoni says, "V'atchanan el Hashem, lama v'atchanan kedei likanes la'aretz." Why is Moshe saying v'atchanan? Why is he begging, or why is he strongly davening? Why? Because he wants to get into Eretz Yisrael. That's what the Yalkut Shimoni says. There are more over there, I think. Nahon yeshot shama. Yeshot Sfarim Shama? Okay. That's Pirkei Avot. So he says, the Midrash, we're doing Drush Gimel. So he says, Midrash Al Kuchimoni, he says, Ve'etchanan Hashem, Lama Ve'etchanan, Kedei Likanes La'aretz, or Lama Ve'etchanan. So the question is, V'hu Tamua, that's what the Zera Shimshon says. It's obvious. Like, what is the chiddush that the Yalkut Shimoni is saying? So the question is, what's so special about the statement by the Yalkut Shimoni? אתם רוצים להחליף? Okay. Anyway, so he says. Okay. So it says, "If Atchanan Hashem, Beitei Lemor." So the Yalkut Shimoni says, "Lamait itchanen." Like, what is he crying for? What is Moshe asking for? Gimel, Jewish Gimel. So he says, the answer is Likanes Eretz Yisrael, basically. So what's the big? So the Zera Shimshon asks a very obvious question. Isn't that if we know the storyline of what the Sefer says? Like, we read the Sefer Dvarim, we know what Moshe was asking for. So what chidush does the Yalkut Shimoni give us by saying what? To go into Eretz Yisrael. There's no chidush. Like, what's the chidush that the Midrash Al Kuchimoni is doing by saying?
Another two psukim is going to say Abraham.
Exactly. In another pasuk later, exactly. Pasuk later, Moshe says Abraham, right? Pasuk later. So what is? So then the question is only stronger. What have we just done? Like, what's the Yalkut Shimoni doing? Telling us he wants to go into Eretz Yisrael. There's got to be something behind it. So again. So. V'yuvan, so he gives an answer. Zera Shimshon gives an answer. That to me, first of all, I think it's a wonderful answer. First of all, in terms of intentions of Moshe, and second of all, it also explains to us really what Moshe was really trying to do underneath it, to teach us a lesson. V'yuvan b'may damrina b'desof perak kama desota. At the end of the first parak of Sota, it says the Rosh Rabbi Simlai. So it says, why did Moshe, what the Rabbi Simlai says in the end of Parak Sota, the first parak of Sota, he says, why did Moshe want to go into Eretz Yisrael so badly? Does he really need to eat the fruit of? Does he need to eat the fruit of Eretz Yisrael? Like, that's not enough of an answer, right? That's what Gemara says. Ela Amar Moshe, Yesh kama mitzvot lot ba'aretz, ekanes ani la'aretz. Amar lo. Kadosh Baruch Hu klum atam mevakesh ela litol sachar ma'aleh ani alecha ki'ilu kiyamtim. So he says, so Moshe obviously didn't need to go into Eretz Yisrael to eat the fruit, because that makes no sense. So he says, Moshe says to Hashem, there are some mitzvot that can only be done in Eretz Yisrael, like truma, maaser, everything else, right? So if that's the case, Hashem says, Moshe, you want to do that mitzvot? No problem. I'm not letting you in, but I'm going to give you the schar as if you did it. So what do we have? So we have an answer so far. It doesn't really give us an answer. It just basically makes it sound like as if the Moshe really wanted to get into Eretz Yisrael for what? According to the Gemara, it sounds like he wants the sachar. Right? We have a problem with that. Here comes a question. Right, we have a problem, right? The Drush Gimel. The question was, the question that we're going to go back once more time. The question is, the Yalkut Shimoni says on Beit Hanan, the first place, Beit Hanan al Hashem Beit Ahi Lemor. And the Yalkut Shimoni says, Kedei likanes la'Eretz Yisrael. So what did we learn? Because we know the next pasuk it says Ebrana ba'artzacha. I want to go into the land. So what did the Yalkut Shimoni? What chidush does he give? It's obvious. So the Gemara and so the Zera Shimshon asked a question based on gives an answer based on the Gemara in Sota, in the first parak of Sota, and he says that Rav Simlai says, why did Moshe want to go into Eretz Yisrael? Because he said, does he really need to eat the fruits of the land of Eretz Yisrael? That's nothing special, right? Rather, he wants to go into being Mekayim the mitzvot. So Hashem says, if you want to be Mekayim the mitzvot, I'll give you the credit as if you did the mitzvot without going in. That's what the Gemara says. He's not. The Zera Shimshon is just building his case right now. How could it be possible that Moshe was going to say, I want to go into Eretz Yisrael to get the sachar of the mitzvot? We know that what? You can't go into the Eretz Yisrael you can't do a mitzvah to get the sachar. You're not supposed to do that, right? So he's saying is that the Zera Shimshon is asking a simple question: how can we go into Eretz Yisrael? How could this be the reason that Moshe wants to go into Eretz Yisrael, right? If he's going into Eretz Yisrael to do the mitzvot, then he wants to get the sachar. If he's getting the sachar, then he's really doing the mitzvah to get the sachar, and that we can too, right? So he says, "Vafilu hedyot sheb'Yisrael im yesh lo leiv tov eno oved al menat lekabel pras." Right? So he says, even a simple Jew, if he has a good heart, he doesn't do the mitzvah to get the prize, right? Because we don't know what the prize is, so we can't do it to get the prize. That's not appropriate. We know what Masechet Avot in Pirkei Avot says, right? You should do the mitzvah lo lekabel pras, right? If you do it, right? ואף על פי שתירץ מהרשע שמתחילה קודם שייכנס היה לו מחשבה לזו לקבל פרס. So he says like this. So he says the Maharsha on this, and the Maharsha here says that. So the Maharsha says that the Zera Shimshon asks a question. If the Maharsha says that on this, he says that before he went into the Maharsha says that even before he went into the Eretz Yisrael, he had. The Maharsha kind of gives like a weird answer. And he says, at first he wanted to go in to get the pras, but afterwards, of course, he had the intention. Had he been able to go in, he would have said, "Lo, I'm not the cover pras." That's the Maharsha. Now, of course, I'm not here to argue with the Maharsha, but the Zera Shimshon says, the Mechila Mikvodo, like he says, with respect to the Maharsha, that's not an answer. He says, "Ein elu ela dvarim neviut v'adayin einan yodim hatam lama yitaveh Moshe l'kanes l'Eretz Yisrael v'lama herba kol kach b'tfilah." So we still don't know why Moshe wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael so badly, right? It doesn't give us an answer. It just kind of says like, okay, that maybe Moshe would go in at first. He wanted to go into the Kabel for us, and then maybe he'll go Lam and not the Kabel for us. But it doesn't really answer the question that we originally had, right? So we haven't answered the question. Is what he's saying. So yes, the Maharsha gives a nice answer, but it's like a forced answer.
Why did he on the word by Hanan? It later says he wants to go.
Exactly.
Now we're just discussing why he wants to go.
Right, because the point is that the answer is, he says, is why is he comment? The comment that the Yalkut Shimoni says is Likanes Eretz Yisrael. But that's an obvious answer. So there's got to be something more to what the Yalkut Shimoni said, or more to what Moshe said than just that. So he's saying, let's go down that route just to see what we get it. So far, the route doesn't make sense.
But Hashem answers, don't worry, I'll give you the schar.
Yeah, but
from which you have to derive that Moshe wanted the schar.
Right, which
could not be the case.
Exactly. So that's right. Exactly. In other words,
you guys want any?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So he says now he brings up the Galei Mukot, which I think is a really beautiful answer. Omnam, he says, however, if you look at the Megalei Mukot, which is a deep Kabbalistic word, so he says here that in the Erchin, the Megalei Mukot quotes a Gemara in Erchin that says, Ezra Bayi Rachme Al Yitzret Avodah Zara Uvatle. So he says that Ezra Sofer, when he came back from Galut, when he brought the Jews back from Galut, he said, Hashem, I want to do one thing. All I want to do is be mevatel what? the Avodah Zarah. Because what we know that's the biggest problem that they have, right? We know through years and years, and even when all of Tisha B'Av, we were saying that one of the main things was Avodah Zarah, right? So this big thing that Ezra says, I want to cancel it, and he was successful. He says, I'm going to cancel it. I want to cancel Avodah Zarah, so that's the biggest tava that they have. So he says, okay, I can't, and so he's doing it. So Moshe says, look what Moshe says, Bishlam Moshe lo by Rahman Gohavin Yitzchut al Eretz Yisrael. Right? Moshe, we understand why he couldn't do it. Because why? He didn't have this chut to go into Eretz Yisrael, so he couldn't be Vivatel. But then we have a question on who? Moshe was the leader about 200 years before Ezra. Moshe couldn't ask for that. Why not? Because he never went into Eretz Yisrael. But who do we have a question on? Yehoshua. Yehoshua should have got up and said, Hashem, I know the biggest problem is Avodah Zarah. So then what? Let's cancel Avodah Zarah, right? So he says, Ela Yoshua, my Lord by Rachme. Why didn't do it? V'hainu kapid kara alai Yoshua. And that's one of the things that we sort of like have against Yoshua. And actually later on in Divrei Yamim, there's the Divrei Yamim, the pasuk writes his name without a hey. It says Yoshua without the hey. And the reason is Hashem is trying to showing him what you did here was not right. Either way, אם כך, היה משה רוצה להיכנס לארץ ישראל כדי להעביר יצר עבודה זרה, לתקן עולם כמו שעשה עזרא. So he says, this is the real reason why Moshe wanted to get into Eretz Yisrael. He says Moshe wanted to do what Ezra did later. He wanted to do it now, so that way Bnei Yisrael would never have the problem. But Moshe knew that, and Hashem didn't, for some reason, he didn't do it. He says this is why at that moment, is that moment when Ezra fixed that issue of Avodah Zarah. That's why it says at that moment. This is for generations. That's the fix. It's a beautiful piece here. It says here, I want to go in. The Rambam be'akadamato l'sefer Yad HaChazakah Shalom Ana Nun Aleph 51 Isurim Binyan Avodah. There are 51. Na is the gematria of 51. The Rambam writes in his Akdamat Yad HaChazakah, it says that someone who's Oved Avodah Zarah, there are 51 Isurim that he goes over. So he says, the hint to the 51 things that Hashem is trying, the Moshe is saying is, I want to correct the 51 Isurim that they're potentially going to go over. So he says here, V'od milat Ebra gematria Ezra. If you look at gematria, which I didn't even think about that, but so wonderful. He says Ebra and Ezra are the same gematria. So you do the word. He says this is what Moshe was asking for. Ebra now means I want to fix now what Ezra is going to fix later. So he didn't say it outright. He says Ebra, quote unquote Ezra, na 51. I'm trying to show you that this is what I want to fix. That's what the Megillah and Mukot says. Megillah and Mukot is basically saying is that he wants to fix that one moment. He wants to go into Eretz Yisrael for one moment. That's what Moshe wants. To go into Eretz Yisrael for that one moment to fix the problem and get out. And Hashem says, Rablach, too much. Don't ask for that. He says, I want Ezra to have that, that schar, that thing, right? Lama Beit-Chana. So this is what the Midrash that is going back to the original part of the Midrash. It says here, it comes to exclude what Rav Simlai says. Rav Simlai said, why did Moshe take, it comes to exclude what Rav Simlai said, which is earlier. It said, why did Moshe want to go into Eretz Yisrael? Right? So he says here, Komar Lama here Babi Tzir Kokach B'Tfilah, Lama Nitavel L'Kenes Eretz Yisrael. So the question is, why did he daven so hard? Like at this moment, he davened so hard. So he says he davened so hard. It's not to get the schar mitzvot, right? This is why the Midrash was so short. Midrash al-Kushimuri was so short. It's to get into the land. Why? Moshe's intention the entire time. And why did the Midrash have to feel obligated to say those 3-4 words? He says because Moshe wanted to get in, so he mevatel the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah to avoid, if you look at the moment from now until Ezra, there are hundreds of years of Avodah Zarah that could have been avoided. What Hashem was telling him is, Moshe, this is not on you. This is where you stop and let's go. Right? So he's teaching him. So yes, the Midrash. So he basically. What? Right. Exactly. Right. Right. But the point is that Hashem was telling Moshe, your job's not, your role is here. Right? This is not your job anymore. Right. Exactly. So he says, even had he done nothing else, just to go in there, stop the flood, basically, right, of Avodah Zarah that was potentially going to happen, right? Even if he had just done that, it would have been enough. But he wasn't going in there today, to enjoy the fruit or for the schar or anything like that. What Moshe was teaching us, he says, is that we can't in other words, one thing that we can say is the value of what Eretz Yisrael meant to Moshe. Right? Eretz Yisrael was, for Moshe, Eretz Yisrael was the ideal, because Moshe wanted to get in. He knew what Hashem was promising. Right? So he knew that the power of Eretz Yisrael, the tefillot that we are merited to see from Eretz Yisrael is a much higher level than everyone else. Going back to what you said earlier, that I'm not allowed to give a shiur next week. So here it is. Right? It says right here, Moshe says, I want to get into Eretz Yisrael just for that 1 minute to daven. Right? So that
maybe he wants to do it because of his
maybe, right.
So that not everybody.
Well, that's exactly right. Right. So that's exactly what he's saying. Is one of the things that we can learn from here is the value of what Eretz Yisrael really means to us, and the value that it meant to Moshe. If Moshe meant so much to Moshe to go in for 1 second, to go in and think about how much zchut we have to go in here and live here, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is the amount of anava that Moshe has as a leader. He's willing to do what? He's willing to do what? He's willing to say, Hashem, I really want to go in that badly. I want to go in for 1 second. And Hashem says, that's enough, and that's it. And Moshe says, okay, that's it. He doesn't fight even more, right? Most of us, if we were told no, we'd probably say, yeah, but maybe, Hashem says,
half a second.
Right, this was his yeah, maybe. But even so, even after, so Moshe, yes, this was his yeah, maybe. But then once Hashem says, that's it, he doesn't say, maybe one more time, I'll give it. No, let me find another angle. He says, that's it, so the point here is that Hashem is telling Moshe, it teaches us something about how Moshe is as a leader, and his willingness, his anava. He's willing to say, okay, I tried again, I tried 515 times, and still nothing. I found every angle, still can't do it. All right, I have to accept it. And that's something also for us that we have to accept. Sometimes when we push, we're still getting the no. That means that wasn't meant to be. We just say, okay. But it's two things here. One is that the power of Eretz Yisrael and what Moshe really wanted. Obviously, it answers a very simple question as why did Yalkut Shimoni have to do or have to tell us something that seemingly doesn't make any sense, right? But more importantly, is to teach us about what did Moshe really want, is the power of Eretz Yisrael to make that one tefillah. But he also understood that it's not his role, it's not his place. And once it's not his place, he was told no, that's it. That's the end of the first Torah.
I was actually just looking at what the Yalkut Shimoni actually says, because he says a lot more than just those 3 words. I mean, I don't even understand the whole thing, but he's building onto the way last weekend did. Because last weekend did Ulmachir Natati Et Gilad.
I just wanted to stop the video. Can you stop the video? Stop the video.
No. In the middle.
I just stopped the first Torah.
Just getting everyone going. All right, we'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back very soon, I promise.
You sure?
Yeah, I just don't like to eat on the video. It's one thing to take a drink. It's another thing
the Yalkut Shimoni is like a whole thing here.
Yeah.
He took 3 words. He's building up the way last weekend did. Last weekend did Ulmachir Natati Et Gilad and so it's so Moshe's saying after he's giving the 2.5 tribes their land on the other side. Okay, so maybe this is maybe this is an apropos time to daven for himself because he's just
whoa, zchut ma. Whoa, yes.
getting busy here.
It's a full house, Baruch Hashem. Of what? What do you need more of what? Oh, go, he's going out for a smoke. Okay. We'll have to wait 5 minutes for the guy.
5 minute break. See you back. Check out the shorts, check out the Spotify, check out the chat, check out